Hi, welcome to the study today. Adventist Home, Chapter 3. Chapter 3 says, The Headed Home, a Pattern. And God prepared man's first home. The Eden home of our first parent was prepared by God. The Eden home of our first parent was prepared for them by God Himself. When He had furnished it with everything that man could desire, He said, Let us make man in our own image, after our likeness. In Genesis chapter 1, verse 26. The Lord was pleased with this last and noblest of all His creatures, and He designed that He should be the perfect inhabitant of the perfect world. But it was not His purpose that man should live in a solitude. So He said, It is not good that man should be alone. I will make him a helpmate for him. So God Himself gave Adam a companion. He provided an helpmate for him, a helper corresponding to him, and one who was fitting for his companion, who could be one with him in love and in sympathy. So Eve was created, and he was created from a rib taken from the side of Adam, signifying that she was not to control him as the head, not to be trampled under his feet as an inferior, but always to stand by his side as an equal, to be loved and to be protected by him. So a part of man, bone of his bone, flesh of his flesh, she was his second self. So showing the close union and the affectionate attachment that should exist in this relation. For no man ever yet hated his own flesh, but nourishes it and cherishes it. Therefore shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave to his wife, and they should be one. The way after cleave since he is one of him, his second self. So you have to cherish it and to nourish it to make sure that a second self is in a good position. First marriage that was performed by God. God celebrating the first marriage. That's the institution as its originator, the creator of the universe. And marriage is honorable. It was one of the first gifts God gave to man. First gift is marriage. And it is one of the two institutions that after the fall, Adam brought with him beyond the gates of paradise. So when the divine principles are recognized and obeyed in this relation, marriage is a blessing. If you can be able to recognize the originator and respect him, then marriage will be a blessing. It grants the purity and happiness of the race. It provides for man's social needs. It elevates the physical, the intellectual, and the moral nature. It's good. Marriage is good because it is able to provide man's social needs, what man needs most of time, because human beings are social beings. So it will able to provide for you social needs. It will elevate the physical and intellectual and the moral. He who gave Eve to Adam as a helpmate performed his first miracle at the marriage festival. And this was the miracle that it was never seen again. When God gave Eve to Adam. In the festival hall, where friends rejoiced together, Christ began his public ministry. Thus, he sanctioned marriage, recognized it as an institution that he himself and established. So, marriage is an institution that he himself, God, has established. But it faces so many challenges, because where that is the source to bring up the siblings that are going to inherit the space that was left in heaven. So marriage has to face so many challenges, despite that God himself is the originator. Christ honored the marriage relation by making it also a symbol of union between him and his redeemed ones. It's like marriage is trying to reunion us to him. He himself is the bridegroom, the bride is the church, of which, as the chosen one, he says, "Thou art all fair, my love, there is no spot in thee." That God looks like that, and so that he chose us to be his love, and that there is no spot in us, despite the sins that we do in our lives. God says there is no spot in you, and he chose us. Everyone was surprised for Adam. Adam was surrounded with everything his heart could wish. Everyone was surprised. There were no sin, no signs of decay in glorious Eden. Angels of God conversed freely and lovingly with the holy pair. The happy songs carried forth their free, joyous song of praise to their Creator. The peaceful beasts in happy innocence prayed about Adam and Eve, obedience to their word. Adam was in the perfection of manhood and the noblest of the Creator's work. Not a shadow interposed between them and their Creator. They knew God as their beneficent Father. They knew God as anyone who will provide for them anything that they want in their life. And in all things, their will was conformed to the will of their God. Will of God. In all things that they wanted, they aimed to conform with the will of God. And God's character was reflected in the character of Adam, and his glory was revealed in every object of nature. Labor was appointed for man's happiness. So we have to work, and it's not something that is there as a punishment, but it's good for you to be happy. So God is a lover of the beautiful. He has given us unmistakable evidence of this in the work of his hands. He planted for our first parent a beautiful garden in Eden, and stately trees were caused to grow out of the ground, of every description for usefulness and for ornament. The beautiful flowers were formed of rare loveliness, of tints, and perfuming the hair. It was the design of God that man should find happiness in the employment of tending the things. Man should find happiness in the employment of tending the things he created, and that is what should be meant with the fruit of the trees of the garden. To Adam was given the work of caring for the garden. The Creator knew that Adam could not be happy without an employment, so he had to give him the work. And for sure, work make you happy. If you could stay idle for a long day, you feel a bit stressed. No one likes staying idle, but you have something at least you are doing. So the same way God felt like Adam would not feel okay if he doesn't have an employment. So he gave him to take a work to care for the Eden. So the beauty of Eden delighted him, but this was not enough. He must have labor to go into exercise the wonderful organs of the body. And happiness consisted in doing nothing. Man in his state of holy innocence would have been left unemployed. If happiness it was all about doing nothing, then God will leave him to be left unemployed. But for you to be happy, even for your organs to be happy, you have to do something. But he who created man knew what would be for his happiness. And no sooner had he created him, he gave him his appointed work, the promise of future glory, and the decree that man must toil for his daily bread came from the same throne. God is honored by a Christian home. Fathers and mothers who make God first in their household, who teach their children that the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom, glorify God before angels and before men by presenting to the world a well-honored, a well-disciplined family, a family that love and obey God instead of rebelling against Him, then Christ is not a stranger in a home. A family where mothers and fathers teach their children on how to fear the Lord. That the fear of the Lord is the beginning of wisdom. Not to fear the Lord in a bad way, but to fear the Lord in a way like you love Him and respect Him. A family that is well ordered, well disciplined, that is where God likes to dwell, and He is not a stranger there. His name in a household name, revealed and glorified. Angels delight in a home where God reigns supreme, and the children are taught reverence religion, the Bible, and the Creator. Angels even would like to stay where God is the supreme judge, where God reigns supreme. God is above everything in that family. Angels love to stay there, and God is not a stranger in such a home. Such families can claim the promise, them that honor me, I will honor them. The Bible tells us, as from such a home, the father goes forth to his daily duties. It is with a spirit softened and subdued by converse with God. The presence of Christ alone can make men and women happy. Just the presence of Christ alone. Even if you have not much, you don't have much to spend, but the presence of Christ alone can make men and women happy. All the common waters of life, Christ can turn into the wine of heaven. The home then becomes an Eden breeze, the family a beautiful symbol of the family in heaven. And where Christ lives, it will be a beautiful symbol of heaven, that is of a symbol of a family that is in heaven, or an example of how much it will be happy to. You may have a little heaven here on earth. May God bless you. Let's meet on the next chapter, chapter 4.